All right, recording has begun. So, as always, for the sake of formality, we shall introduce ourselves. So, hello everybody, my name is Zaraya Kino and I am the Student Senate President of Lorain County Community College. Next is Danielle.
Hello, I'm Danielle Pavlak. I am the Vice President for Student Senate this semester.
And I'm Saul Aguilar. I'm the event coordinator of the Student Senate.
Thank you. And how about our Career Services folks?
I guess. My name is Sarah Hudson. I'm glad to be here. I am the Career Development Specialist who specializes in all of our students who are not quite sure where they're going, what to do.
I am Sarah Hyde-Pinner. I am an experiential education professional in Career Services. I help connect students with internship opportunities, also helping folks with resumes, cover letters, interviewing, kind of a jack of all trades.
That's always a good thing. Marcia?
Hello, everyone. My name is Marcia Jones, and I'm the manager of Career Services. So my job is just to support all the great work that my team is doing. And Sarah are your go-to people here for all your career decision and job search preparation needs that you have.
Thank you. April, if you can.
I am April Fuentes, Staff Assistant in the Office of Student Life.
And Melinda? If I think last time wait, her mic might not be. Does her mic work?
Sorry, yes, I had to plug it in. Hello,
okay.
Everyone. Formerly from Career Services, now I am working in student life. Looking forward to everything. Miss everybody.
Thank you very much. And moving forward, so as everybody has introduced themselves, we are the Student Senate and we are in collaboration with Career Services for this event. And today is a space for all students to ask questions to the Career Services staff and learn about who they are and how they can help you as a student at LCC. So our first question for today is, what does Career Services do? And whoever feels comfortable answering that question can jump in.
Sure, I'm comfortable answering that. I like to think of Career Services as the people who can help you figure out what you want to do and how to get there. So maybe that's not knowing what you want to study. You can work with Sarah Hudson, someone like Sarah Hudson, in figuring out what is it that's a good fit for me and my goals. The other piece is, hey, I know what I'm studying, but how do I get a job? And someone like me can say, hey, what about an internship? What about work-based learning? So what, where you want to be and how to get there. And so once you get through one stage, it's the other. So you want an internship. Okay, let's work on a resume, cover letter, interviewing. And then how does that fit into the holistic piece of what you want to do in the future as a career? So it's really layered, but something that I like about my role is helping people figure out where they want to go and how to get there.
Yeah, absolutely. And from formerly working at Career Services, I know and have a firsthand experience at how you guys work. And you guys have helped me a lot as well. So I strongly encourage everybody to stop by Career Services for anything that they can possibly need help with regarding their careers and their majors. So, second one is, when should I meet with Career Services? So I think you mentioned that and you covered that when you explained like when students just started college and they're trying to decide on a major. But if there's anything that you would like to elaborate on, because I know that in addition to help in addition to finding assistance, getting assistance for finding a job, you also have other resources that that help students figure out what majors fit their personality, like the assessment, like the My Plan assessment and the Truity website. So if you could elaborate a bit more on that.
I can, and I'd like to actually back up because this is what sometimes happens. If you don't know what you're studying, those students do find me. They find me usually in their first or second semester. I've found them. But let's say you know what you want to do. Those students tend to wait because they think, I already know that. I'll talk to you in my second year. And the reality is, if you have a plan in your head, it's just a plan in your head until you come talk to somebody in career services. So my advice is don't wait to come to talk to career services. You need to be talking to somebody in your first or second semester right away because you need to get out what's in your head onto a piece of paper and into a career development specialist or an experiential learning professional so that they can say, okay, I see your plan. Here's my rebuttal, or here's what I can add to it. Here's what we can do with it. Because a plan, your course of action is only in your head, and that's not how we should plan out our lives. We should never just plan what's just in our own head. We do not exist in a bubble. So I encourage students to come right away. Do not wait.
Yeah, and to tag along on that is it isn't ever too early because you can start putting some time frames into your goals. And with that, a lot of folks who have a required internship for graduation say, oh, okay, I know I need to do an internship in spring. I'm going to register for the course in like November. It'll be fine. In a good, normal year situation, an internship search can take 2 to 3 months. And that's in a normal time. And I don't know if you're aware, it's like not normal times right now. So keep in mind that a good job search, a good internship search takes 2 to 3 months anyway, from having a resume and submitting it 3 months, get a job. So starting early can't hurt, so that when you see that internship job posting, that opportunity to go on to get your bachelor's degree, a scholarship application, having the documents ready to go can be a real stress reliever. And I'm a talker, so please stop me if I'm talking too much. But what I think Sarah Hudson and Naisha and Marcia will say is, we're not scary. Just because we have career in our title doesn't mean that we expect you to be polished professionals coming in with a suit knowing everything. No, the opposite. We want you to be more confident in your job search, in your internship search. It's okay if you don't know. It's okay if you don't feel confident. Our job is to be a cheerleader for you to help you feel confident with your employment, internship, career choices.
Absolutely. Sorry, I'm just sending on a last minute email here. So with that I agree with all of that and would strictly reinforce that to every student possible. So the following one, it kind of goes under that same category, is what does career placement after degree completion mean? That's one of the questions we had, but I think under that example comes so like I graduated but I hate my current job, or I graduated and realized that my degree is not what I want to work in. What would you recommend for a student that's going through that?
Oh, can I take this one, please, please, please?
Please do, Sarah. I think I know where you're going.
So one of my favorite activities is when I do a workshop is the game of guess our majors in career services. And I think so far I've had one person guess a correct one, because you're going to find that your major doesn't necessarily equate to most times actually doesn't equate to your career. So this is a question that we get all the time. So when you are facing this, come talk to me, because oftentimes your degree shouldn't ever be a barrier to what you are going after. And so many times we can adjust it. So we can look at your experiences and the skills that you've picked up in your degree and see how it connects to something else that you might want to do. And on top of that, we'll explore what are these other things that you want to do, because you've obviously gone into that degree for a reason and something went wrong. We are going to explore what went wrong or what you found at the end of it, because that's very personal to me. I am a political science major. So, and I'm not a politician and I'm not a lawyer. So I have had that exact experience. Please come talk to me. It's not scary. And we can get you moving to the next step.
And I want to I want to build on that too, is that it can be the reverse. Hey, I've been working for a while and I have come back to get a degree. How do I talk about this in a job search? And like Sarah said, it's how do you talk about what your skills are, what your competencies are, and how do you apply that in a new area? And that's really relevant to adult learners, or folks who are veterans, who have this lived experience, and how you talk about it in a way that makes sense to your next goal. Sarah was a political science major. I was a theater major. All right, so clearly I was really looking ahead to my future earning potential, right? I like what I do. I use the skills that I learned in my theater degree every day. I talk to people, I think on the fly, I have a creative component to that, but I'm not standing up on a stage singing and dancing or painting a set or being on a headset in the back of a theater. But I guess I'm on a headset now, so I learned something. So
Yeah, that is true. And that I think that also falls under the fact that everything you learn in life at one point is going to be applied and it's going to be valuable to you. That reminds me of when I was younger, my mom said, you don't say no to any learning opportunity that comes your way. Always say yes because you never know when you're going to use it. And it may not seem valuable or or like relatable or applicable in the moment, but you never know where life's going to take you. So just like that, Sarah, that you are like even now you're applying what you learned when you were pursuing your theater degree, even though you're not on stage, like you said, the behind the scenes skills and aspects of it still apply to your day-to-day life.
Um,
So that's an
I can
important
take
message.
the next question if that's okay with you.
Yeah, go ahead.
So going back to the basics, I feel like this is more of a basic questions, but more often than not, it's the most basic questions that we don't know how to answer. I mean, I'm talking about me as a student. Um, how can I connect with you guys with Career Services? What is CareerLink? I know I need an account, but how do I create it? How do I do it? Do I have to go to you to create it? Can I do it on my own? How do I make an appointment?
sure.
More of like how do we establish that link like between students and Career Services?
Wonderful. Thank you for that, because we talk a lot up here. We're like, big picture, we're gonna help you. But how do you like actually access us, right? There are a few ways to do it. One, our front desk is open at the times the campus is open. So if you're on campus, you can talk to one of our wonderful frontline team members. Two, you can call in 440-366-4076. But you can also pick up your handy dandy phone and go to the college's website, and you can either get to it under students or community and go to Career Services. It'll talk to you about a lot of our resources, but if you go to the left-hand side to the green button that says CareerLink, CareerLink is our hub of connection. You can schedule an appointment. You can upload your resume to get a resume review. You can look at jobs that are posted. You can register for a workshop. That's really the connection point, is CareerLink. That's why it's called CareerLink, right? You can use your student ID number to create your account. You do have to take that step. You have to create it. You don't need us to do that. You can go in at 2 in.the.morning and say, hey, I know my student number and my email. I'm going to create an account. That is part of it. For some groups of students, we pre-add you, but usually as students know that that's coming if we're working with them specifically. But if it says your student ID is already in use, just hit reset password and it'll send you the link to do that. But it's really pretty simple. If you can shop on Amazon, you can register for CareerLink.
Okay. Yeah, it's surprisingly easy. Yeah.
Yeah, so the thing to know is go to the college website, go to the drop down, pick
College
Career
website
Services,
or a phone call
phone,
or
whatever.
just
Yeah,
in-person front desk, right? Okay. That's
in-person front
awesome.
desk. That's how you do it.
So next is more on the side of resources that you
Alright.
have for the community and students. Like say I'm working with Ohio Means Jobs. This is just an hypothetical, right? And do I still need to go to you, for my either work-based learning or just like general information regarding my career and what I'm going to school for? How can you help me if I'm already working? And how can you help me if for whatever reason I lost my job, either because, something happened or because the industry is changing and I need to adapt? How can
Okay.
you provide resources or information that could help someone like me?
All right, that's definitely a multi-step question. So let me make
Yes.
sure I understand what you're asking. Okay. So for folks who are maybe unemployed,
Mhm,
their industry has changed, maybe there's a COVID impact to their job search. What can we do? How are we the same or different than Ohio Means Jobs? Okay, let me do my best to answer this.
Okay.
So for folks who are familiar with Ohio Means Jobs, they're doing a lot of work through the state of Ohio, especially with requirements to get unemployment. Ohio Means Jobs is kind of a connection point between the state and an out of work person, a job seeker, in getting resources. Some of that's funding for their education. It has a lot of layers, but we have folks in our office and in academic advising who can help smooth the waters, or if there's a referral from Ohio Means Jobs, one of my colleagues, Carrie Delaney, handles a lot of that. Also other folks in school and community partnerships, business growth services. Now, my industry is changing. I'm out of work. COVID has changed my priorities. What do I do? Yeah, this is a big thing that we're talking about with people about right now. Maybe they were in the service industry and they aren't working now, or maybe they're home in a caregiving capacity. A lot of folks are coming back to school now to say, I had to stop out because I had to work and now I can't work. What do I do? This is a great time to connect with Sarah Hudson. If it's a more reflective time to say, what is it that I can do? What do I want to do? If it's more on the I need a job now, it's getting folks connected to some of our workshops to say, I haven't had to write a resume. I've showed up, I've interviewed, and they told me I can start 2 days from then. Do you have a uniform? Come on in. Resumes are a little bit different. How you talk about yourself is a little bit different if you're switching industries. So that is getting connected to someone, getting a workshop, which we have at least 2 every week, so that people can plug in to get help with a resume at least once a week. They can do it low pressure. Just talk to someone. Also, big plug, we have a career fair coming up in 12 days. So April 12th starts our Career Connections week, and with a virtual career fair starting Wednesday, April 14th. So those are all things that we recommend folks participate in, regardless of whether they're 18 or 58.
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely. And there
Thank
will
you.
be, yeah, thank you. there will be a chance at closer to the end of this where you will have the entire floor to talk about the upcoming events. But it's always important to keep plugging it in. The following question is another hypothetical is I have experience, real world experience. Can I get academic credit for that? How can I talk about this experience on my resume, and does it even matter? So behind that, I think it's more along the lines of for example, like let's say I've been working in a field for however many years, but I don't have a degree in that field. How can I get academic credit for that if I decide to get a degree in that?
So there are a lot of layers to that one as well, but we have what's called PLA, prior learning assessment. And for folks who have significant work experience and are now seeking a credential, they can work with my colleague, Carrie Delaney, to get that, attest to their skill, whether it's through a test, a portfolio, an examination of some kind, to do that. And it does matter. For some folks, it helps them expedite getting their credential. If you don't have to do some of the base level work of, say, like blueprint reading, maybe you have been in a field that uses blueprints for 20 years. You don't need introduction to blueprint reading necessarily. So it's working with someone like Carrie Delaney to get that PLA credit, prior learning assessment.
That's good that that even exists though, because I can imagine that situation and just picture myself bored in those classes when I already know all of that information. So I'm really glad that the prior learning assessment exists and it's accessible to everyone who it applies to. So what workshops are available and how can we connect with them?
It's going back to CareerLink. That green button on our website is where you can see all of the workshops that are offered. We set our workshop schedule by semester. And so you can see out what's this week, what's next week, so that you can plan a little bit about what's helpful. And we do things in cycles. There's at least one resume workshop every week. And then there are other topics that get kind of folded in. We have an introduction to work-based learning, that internships for academic credit. We do that every week, every Monday. There's an orientation for that. Then monthly, we have workshops on, hey, what's an internship? What's student employment? How do I get connected with that? We're really thinking on different layers of where's your starting point? Sometimes it's resumes, sometimes it's hey, just tell me what I need to know about internships, and then we'll go from there. So a lot of different topics, but resumes weekly, work-based learning orientation weekly, different topics rotate through on a monthly basis.
So if you want to do the next one.
Yes. So job search specific, this is mostly related to people looking for specifics jobs out there. I have a disability. How would this impact my job search? What shouldn't I share about my disability? And also, what should I do if I am changing careers in terms of my job search?
Complex questions, right? Lots of complex questions. So individuals who have a disability need to know that the Americans with Disabilities Act and a lot of equal opportunity laws protect them in the job search, in hiring and employment. So with that, individuals can't be discriminated against because they have a disability, so long as they can do the job with a reasonable accommodation. So it's a lot of layers again, and it's very situational. But what I will say is, like with any form of discrimination, the person who has been discriminated against is responsible for proving that if they feel as though they are discriminated against. So with that, when I'm working with individuals who maybe have an invisible disability or a visible disability, they say, how do I talk about it or not talk about it? And so we do a lot of coaching around that, but also highlighting here's what's a legal question to get in an interview. Here's an illegal question. Something to keep in mind as well is that we have a partner on campus through the program Opportunities for Ohioans with Disabilities. And there is a contact on campus. Her name is Catherine Rothgary, and her whole focus is helping students who have disabilities work through the process of interviewing, hiring, securing employment so that there are more opportunities there as well. So that's a really situational question, but know that it's something that we talk about, and especially with other protected classes. I know I'm getting into some technical stuff, is protected classes in employment, race, religion, color, disability, gender expression, all of those things are could be of concern to someone in a job search process, and know that we do our best to be informed, culturally competent, and know how to connect people to the right resources if we, are not the best person to provide coaching in that way. Does that make sense? All right, cool. Thank you.
Yes, it does.
Video.
To add to that, and this is just my own question, it's something that I want to know, and I feel like you probably know the answer. Is it legal for an employer to target a specific group, like a specific ethnicity, gender, religion, any of those groups? Is it legal, say, for example, a company's just looking to hire a man, a man
no.
in, okay.
No, and it's actually illegal to write a job posting looking for a man to do XYZ.
I see.
I think there's a little bit more nuance to that as well. But for example, say it's a nursing position, and maybe you say it's a labor and delivery nurse. You cannot, it is illegal to say looking for a female nurse for a position in labor and delivery.
Oh, wow.
You can't do that. Like, that's illegal.
Yeah.
A person needs to be considered based on their qualifications, not their gender, not their gender expression. Something also to keep in mind, pregnancy is protected. So just because a person may be pregnant at the time of their interview, that cannot be the only reason someone is disqualified in hiring. That is illegal.
Oh, wow.
So same thing. Here's one that comes up a lot. So maybe someone is multilingual. All right, here's an example. And I'm real frank when I talk to people about this, because this happens. Oh, I love your accent. Where are you from? No, where are you really from? Like, where are your parents from? Oh, no, that is, no. Someone should not be asking you that in an interview, because the intention may not be to be discriminatory.
Yeah.
But now what people can ask, national origin is a protected class as well. So say someone has moved from Ghana. All right. So they moved from Ghana, and English is the national language of Ghana, just FYI. So they moved to Ghana, they become a naturalized citizen. With that, they can't say, oh, where are you from? Oh, I'm originally from Ghana. You don't want to open that door, but what an employer can ask is, are you legally able to work in the United States? The answer is yes. That's all that matters. Same thing with disability. It isn't, do you have a disability? No. Can you lift 50 pounds?
Oh,
So
that
there are
explains a lot.
yeah. So it's a fine line. And so when you know more about that, you can be a more informed interviewee. So sometimes people are just trying to kind of get a feel for you as a person, but they may ask a question that kind of skirts that line of, oh, this makes me feel a little
But
uncomfortable.
you know, as a person that is being interviewed in that moment, what can you do? Because in your mind, you're just like, I want to work here. I came here because I need a job. And then they start to throw
Mhm.
all these questions. What can you do? You know,
Sarah,
So
is there
that's,
something that you
yeah,
can do?
yeah,
can
go
I
for it, sir.
Mhm.
actually, when we help people with mock interviews and give them feedback,
Mhm.
oftentimes we ask those kinds of questions because we
Mhm.
actually practice those answers, how you can deflect things and
Mhm.
how you can answer it. And we also get to have the discussion of how important is employment to you right now, because it is not our job to tell you what to say if you are desperate for a job or you really think this can
Yeah,
work for you. So we actually have that discussion with you of how would you answer this if you desperately needed this job? What are you willing to sacrifice? What are you willing to risk? But
I see.
we will we will ask point blank illegal questions so that you can practice deflecting them. Here's an example. I am over 40. Once you're over 40, actually, it happens, you are discriminated against because
Yeah,
you're over 40. So instead of somebody asking me, maybe asking me, when did I graduate or, something that would determine my age, a good answer would be, wait, as a woman, whoa, how old do you think I am? Right? Because nobody
yeah.
worth their salt is going to go, oh, and guess. No, they're going to be so uncomfortable that they go definitely to a different line. And that's a way we can deflect questions like
That's
that.
very interesting. Very, very
And we will
interesting.
practice it. So you can,
Yeah, oh, Sarah, you're muted just in case you were saying anything else, but
oops, sorry.
No
uh but
problem.
but to that, to Sarah's point as well, is if there is something that someone that we're working with is nervous about, it's okay to be honest. Maybe someone has had a gap in employment, or maybe someone has been previously incarcerated, or maybe they have felonies, or maybe they have a job that they got fired from, right? How do you talk about being fired? How do you talk about
Yeah,
having a gap in employment for whatever reason? It's talking through it to say, let's practice. How do you talk about it? Let's practice, and let's frame it in what is the importance of your job search.
okay. Well, it's good to know that you guys, are equipped to handle all of that and to help people in that regard. I'd say very interesting. I honestly had no idea, but it's good to know that that's a resource that we have in LCCC. So for our last question is more of in terms of general, what can you guys help us with in a career decision or a job search? Who else can we go to? You know, for example, like opportunities for Ohioans with disabilities, or Ohio means jobs. Like, is there a link? Is there a connection? How do you work with that? At what point do you tell us, you can go here? We can help you with this, but they can do that.
So we are not the experts in everything. Sometimes, we like to think that,
Yeah.
but a big part of our job is knowing what we don't know.
Okay.
And so, like Sarah said earlier, is you may have a sense of what you want to do,
Mm-hmm.
but you need a plan and you need to use all of the resources available to you. Our office is one of those tools. Academic advisors are another tool. Faculty members are huge in thinking about what you want to do next. Internship, job, transfer. These are all people who we help you brainstorm and say, okay, who's in your network? And you think network, oh, I don't even have a LinkedIn. No, who are the people you know? Like, who are family members, family friends, people from religious communities that we can help you start laying out how do you have those conversations? And sometimes it's a referral to someone like Ohio Means Jobs. Maybe it's about funding for additional education or training. Maybe it's Ohioans opportunities for Ohioans with disabilities. So maybe there's a specific concern that you may have, and that you're looking for an employer who maybe has worked with someone in that particular situation before, and it needs an additional accommodation, an additional reasonable accommodation. Or if it is career services at a university partnership school. I think a great example is our partners with University of Toledo. That at the University of Toledo for the computer science and engineering program, those students have required co-ops. And they're typically going for an employer who has bachelor's level engineering co-ops. And so we say, hey, I'm not the best person for this. Let me talk to my colleague. Let me send an email and make that bridge to get you to the right person, right? It's how to make those connections, those bridges.
I see.
And we,
Thank you.
us as student senators, we know all there is to know about being the bridges of communication, especially since we are the bridge of communication between students and faculty. So that is really, really important, and a lot of issues and a lot of misunderstandings revolve around that there's a lack of bridge between whoever it may be and the resource. So that's really important. I had a couple questions pop up, but I did not write them down, so I forgot them. So that was our last question for that we had prepared. So now you have the floor to talk about the upcoming events that Career Services will be holding.
Great, thanks. So the one that's coming up right around the corner is the Career Connections Week, including our virtual career fair. This is the week of April 12th through the 16th. Information is available again through our website, but also registration is through CareerLink. Again, going to our website, green button, CareerLink. Registering for the event, uploading a resume to get reviewed, approved, seeing which employers are going to be there virtually. So that's a huge thing, and we are so excited to be doing this. And it's new, right? Virtual career fairs aren't new per se, but they're definitely incredibly widespread now. So it's a way to connect people, even though we can't be together in our traditional career fair with, shoving 600 people into Spitzer. Not a good idea right now, but we're still connecting employers. As we even had 2 new employers register this morning, and we're just getting people in. And it's the thing to know, it's on your own time, but really finding the ways to connect with local employers, also with university partnership schools on Tuesday, April 13th. So keep that in mind. So that's our big push as well. So do you guys have, you as students, what questions do you have about the virtual career fair? Let me turn it around to you. When I say virtual career fair, what do you think?
So I've been attending to the career fair for like the last, I think, 2.5 years or so. And it's been great. I met a lot of employers that I've actually got to work with. So, I mean, I know there was a lot of challenges, probably, going through the transition to in-person to all online. So on the top of my head, I'm just thinking one of the best things that I enjoyed about the career fair was that I actually got to experience one-on-one time
Okay.
with my potential future employers. How or can you achieve that in this upcoming um online career fair? Like, is there
Mhm.
how is it gonna work? You know, like the
Okay.
mechanics of it.
Great. Thank you for that. I
Mhm.
think I've been so immersed in the planning that I'm like, oh, well, of course that's easy. No, I haven't told you anything yet. So you think about it in a couple of levels. So one is the virtual booth. So you can access the dashboard in CareerLink. You see employer information, positions they're hiring for. The second way to actually have that face-to-face time
Mhm.
is every employer who is participating has a slot of time
Okay.
to do a Zoom meet and greet on Wednesday, April 14th.
Okay.
So they're going to do 15 to 20 minutes, talk a little bit about their company, and then take questions from attendees. Now, that's a really small slot of time. What if you're working? What if you have class? That's okay too. The third level is on their virtual booth, on their dashboard. They have one or two options. One, you can drop a resume.
Okay.
They'll review your resume. If they want to talk to you one-on-one, they'll just send you a little message that says, hey, find a time on my calendar. And then you go into the dashboard and you schedule the appointment to talk to them one-on-one. Other employers will have kind of like an open room where you'll go to their dashboard and either on the 14th or 15th, they'll say, hey, I'm available from, 3 o'clock to 5 o'clock on Wednesday. Hit me up and you can see me one-on-one, face-to-face, virtually for a meet and greet.
Okay. Okay, yeah, that sounds good actually.
Yeah, and the thing that we're trying to do with kind of the fixed schedule
Mhm.
is we're going to have 2 or 3 rooms running at any given time, but we're not going to put competing industries against each other.
Mm,
So,
that's
say,
really good.
yeah, so there's like a track for STEM, manufacturing, thing for
Yeah.
healthcare, so you're not competing
Mm.
for an employer's attention.
Okay. Okay. Do you have any questions, Sarai? If not, I have another
No, keep going.
one. The other question is, have you seen a decrease in the amount of companies that actually came to the career fair because of the pandemic and everything that's happening? Or would you say it's the same amount? Or would you say there's more?
Um, it's still in flux. What I will say
Okay.
is that the first time doing any kind of event, especially in a new format, you're gonna have some people who are like, I don't want to try anything new right now. We've got a lot
I
going on.
understand.
Now, something that I noticed yesterday that makes
Mhm.
me feel really good, feel much more confident about the direction that kind of the economy is going, and especially our work with employers, is yesterday in CareerLink, we had the same number of jobs posted as we did in February 2020. This is the
Oh,
first
wow.
it's matched. So, like, it's hard to tell you how excited that makes me, is that it has been a big difference.
Yeah,
But as yesterday, we had the same number of jobs posted in CareerLink as
that's
in
awesome.
2020. And there are times when I'm talking to students, I'm like, well, we don't have as many jobs posted, not as many employers working with us, but it's starting to hit the same level as before. And like, ooh, it's really like visceral for
That's
me.
that's
Like,
great
hey,
news.
it's going
That's
in the
really
right
good to hear.
direction.
The last thing I think is we can help you promote the career fair, but if you could provide us with important links or information, like what companies are going to be
Mhm.
there, how to join, you can just send in here or in an email, no rush. But
Sure.
it'd be really good for us to have it so we can share it on our social media and maybe get more people.
Fantastic. Yeah. And now that we know a few more of the employers that are coming, that's really how we want to frame it, is because it's not about like career services. It's about the Visiting Nurses Association. It's about MCPC. It's about FabriWeld. It's about the employers that want to talk to
Yeah.
LC students. Like they want LC students. So let's, you know, make this connection. So we'll make sure to send you some stuff, okay?
Okay. Thank
And
you.
I think we also want to mention that on Tuesday, the university partnership wants to talk to LCC students. So even if you're not looking for a job right now or an internship, and you're thinking that you are going to continue your education after LCC, Tuesday is the day you want to show up, so that the partners can all talk to you about their programs and give you the contacts that you're going to need to smoothly go from LCC to that institution.
Thanks for bringing that up, Sarah. And let me like rewind a whole bunch. Or is that Monday, the 12th? We're doing a lot of preparation work. So if you don't have a resume, you can drop in to one of our like quick resume workshops and then connect one-on-one with someone who can help you right away to get a good resume to share with an employer. Tuesday is, hey, I know I want to continue my education, or I'm thinking about continuing my education. Let me talk to another college or university so I can pursue that path. And then Wednesday, Thursday, Friday is let's get connected with employers. So it's that staged approach. Let me get myself ready. Let me see what my transfer career path options are. Let me connect with an employer.
One question, and I mean, I could probably make an appointment with any of you guys to answer this. It's my own case. I need a work-based learning to graduate, which I haven't done yet. But in between, so I worked. I graduated with an associate's degree in MEMS, and then I worked for a year, pretty much, and then I started the bachelor's degree. My question is there a way to use the time that I worked in between as credit for my work-based learning, or because I wasn't enrolled, it wouldn't be possible?
So the quick answer, and then you and I can talk later. I'm the right person to answer this question. Is work-based learning is not credit for the work. It's credit for the learning.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I
so
remember because I took it from our associates, and yeah, I had to fill out certain information, talk to my supervisors, my professor. Yeah, I remember. That makes absolute sense now that I think about it.
Yeah, so it's the learning that goes into it. So it's the actual academic credit.
Okay.
All right.
I do have one question. So I remember attending a career fair and an internship fair when they were in person, so like a year or two ago, or both. And the people that were able to RSVP would get a map of Spitzer, and where each it would have a list of all the employers that were there and where would they be located. How, I'm assuming that's not going to be a thing for the virtual because there's no in-person location, but I'm assuming, is there going to be like a list of the employers and in what rooms they're going to be in, or how is that going to work?
You are exactly right. So we did a directory for both of those events. The dashboard in CareerLink is the interactive version of that. However, because we're doing a combination of presentations and workshops, we also have a PDF event program. And on the event program, it says, hey, this is what's happening at this time. Click this link to connect with the right Zoom location. So that we're doing both. So you'll be able to navigate the dashboard in CareerLink, but also see it in a PDF document so that it's a little bit more familiar for folks who have been to one of our events before.
Okay, I'm glad I asked that.
Yeah, we're trying to figure out, it's our first time doing it. We're seeing what works. As people ask questions, we're like, oh no, that's a great idea. Like, let's figure out how to solve that problem.
Yeah, absolutely. Cause I remember that was like seeing that directory and seeing that map was very helpful when trying to map out where like the stop, like your stops essentially, who you wanted to talk to. So that's why I thought of asking. So we are a bit early, but I wanted to go ahead and announce the Student Senate events that are coming up. So in addition to all of the career services events, we do have a couple coming up, and that's something great for me to say because I need to pull up the calendar. And while I do that, Saul, if you have any other questions, please do.
Oh, I was just right now on my second monitor. I was going through the career fair on LCCC because I'm interested, and I noticed. I mean, I guess it's understandable. I'm a STEM major, right? And I have the feeling that STEM was somewhat of a minority, or at least related to my field of study, because there were some STEM careers, but I think the majority of them were probably humanities related, which is not bad because the employers that were there were actually particularly interested in LCCC students, which is good. But has it remained? Is that trend continue, or would you say that it's about equal? You know, like
That's a
both
funny
fields.
question because the career fairs that I've gone to,
Hmm.
it was flipped. There was more STEM than anything
Really?
else. Yes. I remember that. I'm like, why is there so much STEM here?
We're everywhere.
It was
Yeah,
funny.
it's hard to say one way or another because again, this is the first time we're doing a
Mhm.
virtual fair. But in the past, our fall event, our internship fair, was tightly focused on engineering, business, IT, manufacturing. So that was really heavily focused in that area and more the STEM fields. Our spring event is always open to all disciplines, and I would say the biggest bulk of single industry employers in spring previously has been healthcare.
Okay.
But it's a very big mix. And I want to say the last in-person career fair we had 117 employers in spring 2019. Oh my gosh. And it just depends. But the
Yeah.
mix, as we recruit employers to participate, we do it with a mix of our student body in mind. So keep in mind is that there are folks on campus whose job is to work with employers and get employers there.
Yes,
Okay.
absolutely. No,
Thank you.
I found Sel's question very funny because I remember it being flipped. Yeah, the last two times that I participated, but yeah,
Yeah,
it is.
maybe it's just a matter of perspective,
Yeah.
like the grass is always greener on the other side, type of thing.
Yes, absolutely. So with that, I have the calendar up. So I'm going to talk briefly about the events we have coming up now in April. Since today is the last day of March and this is our last event for March. So next up, which is coming up actually this Friday, is our Real Talk financial literacy with not career services, sorry, student financial aid. So April is Financial Literacy Awareness Month, so we're collaborating with Student Financial Aid to talk about financial literacy for students. So the Real Talk will be the kickoff event, and just like today, it'll be in a forum talking about the frequently asked questions that students have regarding financial literacy. And it will be from 3 to 4. And from there, on Mondays, the 5th, the 19th, and the 26th from 12 to 1:30, just like today. We'll be doing a budgeting and credit 101 workshop, a scholarships 101 workshop, and a student loans 101 workshop. So it's open for students and faculty alike because this information is critical for everyone to know. And you're more than welcome to join us. The flyer has been circling around a little bit. But for your student workers at Career Services, and anywhere else that you can possibly think of sharing, please do. And from there, we have our general meeting coming up on the 9th. We have a accepting, no, we changed the name of that, Real Talk. We have a learning differences from a student perspective in collaboration with the Accessibility Services office, where students with learning differences will be talking about their experience in higher education. And we will be having a third day at the movies in honor of Autism Awareness Month. And we have a couple more general meetings coming up. And the last Real Talk we have is about goal setting on April 30th. So again, open to all students and faculty. If you guys want, I'll forward this event, the calendar and the flyers to those who attended today, just so you guys can know about it. But with that, I am Sarai Aquino again, the Student Senate President for Lorain County Community College. And today was a great opportunity to go through the frequently asked questions and just get the information out there of who Career Services is and what they do, and their beautiful and lovely staff who do a great job of what they do. So this was a very good opportunity, and I'm glad that we did this event. I'll let Saul and Sarah reintroduce themselves in closing, and with that, thank you for attending our event.
This is Saul Aguilar, event coordinator of the Student Senate, and I'm gonna send my email in the chat in a second. I'm just copying it. So if there's any question or comment, oh, there's no way to send it to everyone. That's interesting.
There should be,
Well,
but it's okay.
yeah.
I'll do, when I do the email, I'll CC
Okay.
everyone in it so everyone can get connected.
Okay. Yeah, thank you for coming. Thank you for all the useful information.
Thank you so
Thank
much
you
for
for
having us.
Yeah, thank you for having us. And if you're watching in YouTube land, think about attending virtually the Career Connections Week, including
Oh, I'll
virtual.
be there. I will be there for
Good.
sure.
Also, if you have any questions, you can call us 440-366-4076. And our email is really easy, careers@loraincccc.edu.
Perfect.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And
Thanks, everybody.
with that, everybody is dismissed. Thank you so much.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.